gases down, we get vitamins.
Right.
When you break vitamins down, you get atoms. When you break atoms down, you get quarks. When you open up a quark, you got something called a string in string theory. That's actually a piece of light that's tied up in a knot.
Shit.
Right? When it's tied up tight enough, it creates another particle called a Higgs boson or a God particle that creates the illusion of density, but it's still just a particle of light.
Mm-hmm.
So if you reverse engineer what he's saying, the science is all wise, right, and exact. It doesn't buckle. You'll be like, well, if it's all this noise going on, why can't I hear it? Okay, so you got what's called a biological protection mechanism for psychic influence.
Hold on. What's that, Rod? Hold on, Rod. What is that? Slow down, Rod.
I'm about to tell you.
Oh, please.
Look, when I was in the joint, right?
Yes, sir.
That's when I found out how dark the human mind really can get.
Ooh, I know.
Looking in the eye of a serial killer, his thoughts seep into your head. If you psychic, right? And some of them people don't never need to see nothing that look like freedom, but then most of them, the 99 percentile, don't need to be there. They're there because of social conditioning. But in the mind, it converts everything into what we call white noise.
Okay,
it's there. It's just blocking out all of the sound that's preventing you from hearing what you are tuning into. Right? It worked like this. Somebody talking to you, you looking at them, but you thinking about dinner. And then they say, you hear what I said? And you're like, huh? White noise blocked them out because the attention focus shifted. It ain't that you didn't hear them consciously. It's just that the white noise seen that you was doing something else and said, hey, we can't listen to him while he's focused on this cheeseburger.
Yo, man, y'all saying some shit, man. God.
Right. You got all kind of spiritual defense mechanisms. A lot of them are just weak because you haven't learned that just like you can get your body in physical shape to go fight it like Mike Tyson, you can get your spiritual body in shape to do spiritual jujitsu, so to speak. Well, all of the negative shit coming your way, you miss me with that. That's off the mind saying miss me with it. It deflected. Because everything starts with a thought. If you can preempt the physical action with the thought form, then the thought form will get there faster and solve the problem before you ever have to take physical action. And this is why all of the some of the greatest people that in the last 2,000 years was pacifists. They was fighting the spiritual war using the power of the man.
Right.
They didn't want to fight the physical war because the agencies of the physical war, they didn't have the means to overcome that obstacle. Right? It's the depth of folly to rush into battle knowing you're going to get slaughtered. Right? But it's the highest wisdom to out-strategize your opponent where you never have to see him on the battlefield.
I hear this shit.
Oh, yeah.
And Big Mama is the wisest strategist.
Yes, sir.
Right? So she put us down here to observe, find these laws. They scattered all over the place. You got to find them. When you find them, they're going to tell you how to navigate. When you learn how to navigate, now you obligated each one teach one because you taught yourself enough to be able to teach others. Right? And then wisdom is justified in her children. Right? So when I talk to people, right, and I'm telling them something, Billy Carson coming, he's telling them the same thing.
Right.
I'm just telling them how we see it in the streets. Billy telling them how we see it in the classroom. The difference in the two is this. The classroom perspective is the perspective our enemy wants us to see the problem. We're not going to never let us see the problem from a perspective that's going to allow us to solve it. Where in the streets, it's exactly how he told us not to look at the problem and everything he told us to stay away from, right? And all of the rules he created to make sure that if we tried to violate what he told us, he can punish us, right? So you have to be able to shift from street knowledge to book knowledge, because what they wanted us not to know, they still put it in the same books that we got to read to follow the instructions they've given us. We just have to look at it from a street perspective and translate it from a culture, because the streets is actually the culture. The streets is the root culture of the land. So all of this, what they call the inner city, the hood, that's the culture that was already here. And then all of this other shit, the politics, the education, the entertainment was the stepping on of the culture, but the culture bubbled up through it and became more important than they structural control of us. Now, the ones of us who see it, whether we went through the classroom, Billy Carson, or whether we went through the penitentiary, Rod Hayes, we can come out and we can tell y'all what we see. And then when we in alignment, we can see further than any one of us could.